website is www.smart24.tv. You can get more business reports and stories both locally and internationally. Then also get us more on our Instagram, smart24_TV, and please do remember to share your thoughts on any business idea that you have. We're entirely a business channel running 24/7. GoTV is channel 394 and DSTV is channel 372, is where we drive our businesses from to clearly give you information that is vital for your business growth and information that is vital for the development of you and the people that you associate with. So it is something that you should look at and steadily involve yourself into if you're a business-minded person and you're looking for a TV station and which will be driving your business home and giving you all that matters business. Now, when you look at some of the key highlights we've been having in today's show before clearly going into the SMB Insight this morning, you get to also understand that back to the SMB News recap that we had in the morning today, if we were to look at what has been coming up from there, there are lots of stories that did catch our attention from that particular space, and there was one regarding there's one story regarding a road construction launch in Mbarara district. Now, when you look at the situation regarding construction of roads in Uganda, I pretty much understand that at a time or every other financial year, there is either a road that is going to be constructed or there is a road that is under maintenance. And in most cases, those under maintenance are roads that have actually been in place, but because of some few disorganizations or they've taken long without being maintained or being taken care of, government seeks it wise to at least look at how best they can keep this road in good shape. So now this particular road construction launch in Mbarara is to ensure that the Mbarara roads are also on top notch, simply because Mbarara is now a city, and if you have a city like that, then that means the transport sector has to be boosted. We all know how much of the importance it has, the transportation sector, that is, the importance that the transport sector comes with, if at all it is well put in place in most of the areas, because when you look at most of the goods and commodities that are being driven or being taken via road to, for example, the agricultural products from the villages that are actually being driven to city centers, that is in towns for sale in the various markets, you will need a good road that will actually not cause any damages, because there are some perishables. Look at tomatoes, then you look at other agricultural products that are actually very delicate in the mangoes, for instance. But if at all you have a very good road network, then it's actually very vital for the business people to actually continue with their businesses. And not only perishables, but also there are some delicate goods and commodities that are supposed to be at least well maintained and carried well. So it is something that is not only focusing on the agricultural sector, but also focusing entirely on the other commodities and goods that are being sold. So transportation being a vital role in that space. And this particular road construction is something that we need to look at steadily to see how important it can be for most of the people in there. So the people in Mbarara will be excited to hear about this particular story and this particular news, because when you look at the situation, they will be benefiting from a new set of urban roads. It is not only one highway, but it will be a set of urban roads, and these roads will be worth around 18.9 billion shillings, and it is going to be funded by the World Bank, whose construction work was launched by the Minister of State for Urban Development, Obinga Kania. So when you look at some of this situation as urban roads and how they will be benefiting from urban roads, there are lots of things where you can benefit. For example, people actually in the transportation sector whose businesses are rendering services in the transportation sector. A good road network will entirely be helpful for such kinds of people, and so it is something that they should be very excited to hear about, especially those who are living in Mbarara. Now, also from the side of, besides that issue to do with road construction in Mbarara, then we get to realize something to do with the issue to do with COSASE finalizing with the Uganda Airlines. This has actually been a very huge saga, and for quite a number of weeks now, and if you're to at least put it into proper context, it may be a month of this same discussion. Now, as they were summing up the report, or compiling the final report of the findings on the Uganda Airlines, COSASE also got to apparently realize that the CEO and the board apparently paid a group of influencers and bloggers to speak, to defend, on the other hand, to defend the airlines. But the defensive mechanism they were using was to criticize the committee. So in that way, COSASE also got to find out that that the Uganda Airlines board used more millions of shillings to at least pay off these particular bloggers and influencers. Those are some of the findings from the committee, as the committee now will be presenting this report to Parliament, and which Parliament will actually see, or will actually debate on the way forward regarding the same matter to do with Uganda Airlines ever since its revival. Now, because ever since its revival, you've got to realize that it has actually been facing some challenges with the fact that they've not been making profits. But for any other airline across the world, you get to realize that normally airplanes or airline or the aviation sectors in the countries normally take time after being set up to actually gain these profits. It may actually take 5 to 7 years, and so Uganda is also moving into that direction, as we hope to at least become profitable, so that our sector becomes profitable, just like when you look at the Ethiopian Airlines in that way or the other. Now, speaking of the issues to do with the transport sector, speaking of the airlines, the aviation, takes us to more of our SMB Insight this time round. Now, SMB Insight here drives us back to business registration, the importance of business registration, why you need to register that business. You know, sometimes we keep on asking and we keep on sensitizing people that there are chances that your business will be legally recognized by not only government bodies but also other people, if at all it has been licensed, or if at all it is moving on with a serious license. Now, the license that you get is after registration, of course. So that means you registering your business, that means you're going to register the type of things you sell, or the business that you're dealing in, which sector do you fall under, and which kind of customers do you address. These are some of the things that you find out in your business registration. So as you register your business, you're now registering it as an entity or as a brand that is maybe your brand or someone else's brand, but at least it is speaking volumes because it is having a license and it's being registered out there. And once you get this license, or once you're registered and you have a registration number as a business out there, even the issues to do with tax compliance become easier. You as an individual will definitely be in the books of Uganda Revenue Authority as a tax compliant business owner. So these are some of the things that happen when you register your businesses fully. And the legal registration also goes back to the Uganda Registration Service Bureau, where you have to get all these credentials as well, and at least you are getting not only a certificate but also getting that license. That is very vital, and it speaks volumes, because sometimes when you look at, for example, people who deal in sensitive products that actually is health related, when you are operating such a business, you will definitely need a license, because how then will you assure a customer or a consumer that the product that you are selling is viable, or a product that you're selling is genuine to them? Not only genuine, but how good is it? Because once you have the license and you have all these stampings from the Uganda National Bureau of Standards and everything, maybe you're also paying taxes to the Uganda Revenue Authority, someone coming into your business to buy the product that you're actually selling, or to at least go for a service that you're offering, they will definitely be happy to realize that they are dealing with a genuine person. Because at the end of the day, with that, you can easily, if at all the customer, if you put it in the perspective of the customer, you can easily go and report if at all something has not been worked upon, if at all the product that you've spent your money on has not met the standards of what you are expecting of it, or if at all you're a business person and you get wrangles with the consumers, so that if you're taken to the courts of law, at the end of it all, it is easier for you to defend yourself, because your business is legally recognized, it is licensed, you've registered it, so that means you're not operating illegally. And it's also one of the reasons as to why, when you look at the 60% of the businesses that are closing up, if you're to look through some of the reasons as to why some of them are failing, some because they've run out of capital, maybe some others because they're not making any profits. Then the others as well are illegal. They're actually operating illegally, and such businesses are the verge of closing down, because once government officials come through and you have no license but you're operating, then you are definitely at the brink of closing down, because then you are operating illegally. That means the goods or services that you're rendering are in danger to the people that you're offering them to. So then let's get into our SMB Insight, this one taking us back to business registration.
A business, we have so many categories of businesses. We have what we call a business name. This one is a trade name you can use to identify your brand in the business market. It is basically a name that identifies your business. One can name their business as Kamsime Solutions or Enterprises. So that is a brand name. That is the smallest business URSB can register, and it only costs 24,000 shillings. The criteria of registering it is, first of all, reserving the name. If the name passes the desirability test, then it's good to go. We only give you a form that is called a statement of particulars, where you fill in the details of the person, of the applicant, their date of birth, and where the business is going to be situated. And thereafter a day, we issue with a certificate of registration. And we have what we call companies. This one is different from a business name. How? It is different in a way that a company is separate and distinct from its members. It has legal existence. The way a human being is, it has an arm, it has a leg, it has a brain. It operates through its directors or shareholders, which is different from a business name. For a business name, it's just an individual. So a company, one can sue the company and not the individual. So basically, not to delve into the advantages, that is one of the advantages of a company compared to a business name. So the criteria of registering a company is you first go through the reservation of the name to see if the name passes the desirability test. And what we look at when we are registering that name is it similar to what we have in our database? Does it have political connotations, political slangs? There we send you to the Electoral Commission. Does this name pass the moral applicability? Is it vulgar? We look at all those criteria and then issue with the name. After you've reserved the name, you go to the next step. You avail us forms, that is Form A1, Form S18, and the memorandum and articles basically. Form S18 just indicates who the members or the subscribers of the companies are. The Form A1 basically shows the share capital. This is basically share capital which shows the weight, how heavy the company is. So basically that's it. Those are the mandatory requirements at the registration of the company. And for a company that has a share capital of 1 million shillings, it will only pay stamp duty of about 130,000 shillings. Just to be brief, not to break it down. For a company that has a share capital of 10 million and above, one will part with about 250,000 shillings. It is very, very mandatory to register your business, as I first stated. And there are very many benefits one can get when they register their business. There are enormous benefits. Before even URSB gives you those incentives to attract you to register your business, one should know that there are very many benefits. One of them being obtaining a trading license. You know very well that you cannot operate within this business parameters without obtaining a trading license from KCCA. So it is mandatory for every business to be registered so that they can acquire a trading license from KCCA, from any local government. Number two, we are all seeing the East African community. Everybody is free to trade outside the borders of this country. Many people are exporting their produce. Many people are exporting several goods out of this country. So there is no way you can leverage on those benefits of trading outside this country without registering your business. Many people don't have capital to start their businesses. So when they go to these banking institutions, the first thing the banking institution requires from you is a certificate of registration or a certificate of incorporation. And that is only issued by Uganda Registration Services Bureau. So before you go to any bank for a loan, they have to make sure that your business is legitimately registered with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Number three, We are seeing bids. Government is always issuing bids in the newspapers on Mondays and Fridays. There is no way you can go and bid without your business being registered. Number 3, you build a brand. This is how you attract your clients to your business, because they identify you as a particular business. You cannot trade under somebody's business. So this brand in a later stage creates a reputation and goodwill, and it ends up attracting customers to your business. So incentives that we are giving our customers are that come and register, because it is very, very mandatory to register your business. You cannot live without registering your business with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. And you can start with a business which is as low as 24,000 shillings. That is a business name. And when your company has grown to a certain amount or to a certain tune, you can seize that business name and upgrade into a company by filing a notice of cessation.
All right, now there is something to do with your customer base and how you interact with them, and how they can easily tell that you as a business person, there is something not okay with what you're selling or what you're dealing in. And sometimes you get to realize that there is something less important. But then, looking at registering your business, I believe if, for example, I put it in a section of pharmacy or the pharmaceutical businesses, if you move to a pharmacy today, there are certain things that you would want to understand. Who is the owner of this pharmacy? Is the person attending to you in this pharmacy a nurse, a doctor, or have they had some medical practice somewhere? Do they have, you have to look at most of this area, because once you move in a pharmaceutical area, you get to realize there will be some, for example, there would be a certificate or a license that is easily visible, because you want to understand before buying this product, who am I buying it from? Is it a genuine product? Isn't it having health complications attached to it? So these are some of the reasons as to why you as a business owner comes to a realization point that you need to register your businesses, that you need to license your business, because at the end of the day, it's going not only to affect the people who are close to you, but it's as well going to affect people who have actually been able to realize how important it is for every other person. Now, also bringing it down to the local businesses. Someone may ask, how about me, who is actually driving my business from a situation of a small kaduka or ordinary kaduka? Now, this goes back to your goals as a business person. Do you want to expand? Because when you look at this, Uganda Revenue Authority says that every Ugandan doing business ought to pay taxes. Now, from the legal perspective of it, if you're doing business and it is bringing in sales, and you look at your sale turnover and it's coming in, and now authorities want to ask if you have a license and all that, work on that. Because the reason as to why you get to realize that every other person who is out there, that one step at a time, people always have to go in and at least consider your business. They want to consider your business, they want to see your business grow, but how will they see your business growing unless when they actually attach to it? When you look at also supermarkets in here and all that. So registration also goes back to yourself and your business brand. You want to attract various buyers, you want to attract various customers, but then it is the brand that you want people to get attached to. People want to get attached to that brand. So it's that same brand that people will definitely speak highly of. So how do you actually register this? How do you actually get this brand recognized? Registration. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to come out and advertise a brand that is not even recognized somewhere. Because at the end of the day, why you also need to register takes you back to the issue to do with copyright, for example, copyright of your business. If I wake up in the morning and set up a business called Joram Paul Business, let's say Joram Paul Cafe, or I will say Joram Paul's Hardware, then someone else comes out and says Joram Paul's Hardware, and then he goes to the authorities, registers the same name, at the end of it all, people will not be associating to Joram Paul's hardware as My Hardware. They will be associating to another Joram Paul because they know that is the name that is being registered in there. So that means now you become a scammer who is actually using someone's name to operate businesses. So you're operating behind the shadows of someone who has already legally registered their business. So at the end of it all, you get to realize how important it is to legalize some of the things, not only your business, but also if you're someone who's dealing in the service sector, get the licenses, register that business, register that. And at the end of the day, you're going to interact with quite a number of intellectuals, even the investors that are coming to you or who actually want to see your business expand, will want to interact with someone who's working formally, who has formal attachments to their businesses. How do you associate with everyone? They want to look at the business who's actually a business person who's actually corporate minded, or in a way that you have your license there, you're registered. So at the end of the day, someone wants to at least engage in business activation with someone they believe is not going to scam them, or someone they know is recognized by the government or the other of government stations, or you mentioned government organizations that deal with the registration. Case in point here, Uganda Registration Service Bureau and the Uganda Revenue Authority. Because there with the URA you're paying the taxes, now with the Uganda Registration Service Bureau you're registered as a legal business and as an entity that is actually rendering something out to the public. So that is of the importance of business registration. And that is it for this segment and this hour of the show. Now we return after the break, looking back at our top stories of discussion here on Smart Means Business from where we started on Monday till today. Stick around. Good morning.